and a warm, rather humid welcome to the National Conference of Heat Waves and Changing Monsoon Patterns and Amid Climate Change, jointly organized by Climate Trends and the Department of Environment, Climate Change and Forest, Government of Tamil Nadu. My name is Vinamrita Bodwankar and I'm part of the Climate Trends team and I will be your host today. We have We've gathered here to address the most pressing issues of our times, climate change and its profound impact on heat waves and monsoon patterns in India. Headlines from all parts of the world, all parts of the country and the world have raised this alarm over the past few weeks. Our aim today is to collectively identify solutions and pathways as we navigate these challenging times. We are honored to have a distinguished set of speakers and experts who will share with us their insights and expertise throughout the day. We're extremely happy to do this in collaboration with the government of Tamil Nadu, which has already thought a lot about the action that must be taken along the way. We also have senior officials from the states of Maharashtra and Odisha who will share their learnings from back home, from their work back home. We have an exciting day of learning ahead of us. We will try and stick to the agenda in the interest of everyone's time, and we will try and keep time for Q&A. Without further ado, let's get started with our inaugural session. To kick off the conference, I would like to call on stage Ms. Aarti Khosla, Director of Climate Trends. We also have, joining us for the inaugural session is also Srimati Supriya Sahu, Additional Chief Secretary, Department of Environment, Government of Tamil Nadu. Due to an emergency meeting, she's in Delhi, but she will join, so she couldn't be here in person, but she will join us, connect on Zoom in a moment. Manjari, she's joining, she's just messaged, so please. We also have Mr. Rahul Nath, the Chief Mission Director, Tamil Nadu Climate Change Mission Director, and the Director, Department of Environment and Climate Change. So please join us on stage. We also have Srimati Sudha Raman, the Member Secretary of the Tamil Nadu State Planning Commission. We will also be joined by Professor T. Jayaraman, Senior Fellow, MS Swaminathan Research Foundation. We will, as we wait for ma'am to join, I can call upon Aarti to set the context for the day. Over to you, Aarti.
Morning, everybody. When we came here yesterday, I was confused. Do we talk about the heat wave or do we talk about the changing monsoon patterns? But it is what it is. Chennai has rains. We came from Delhi, which was under a severe heat wave last week and the week before that with 48, 49 degrees of temperature. And as some of you might have seen, some news reports actually said 53.3, which was actually sensors getting faulty. But those of us who have followed the air quality campaign also know sensors only get faulty when the charts are breaking. So one way or another, we are in for some kind of a climate crisis. My name is Aarti Khosla. I represent Climate Trends. The purpose of the meeting today, as my colleague Vinamrita outlined, is simply to talk about how much heat has become the single largest threat to both public health as well as to the economy. India has been roiled in heat wave this time. Can I change my slides? And what you see here is what you see here is just a snapshot of how many extreme weather events just happened in the month of May. While there were reports of heat wave related deaths across the country, there were simultaneous reports as well of forest fires that were raging in Uttarakhand, even in Jammu and Kashmir and in Himachal Pradesh. And at the same time, we had the cyclone Rimal making landfall in parts of West Bengal, but also Bangladesh. The fact of the matter really is that we are at a point where the climate crisis is making all of these more severe, more frequent, as well as of longer duration. And that is what we would like to discuss here today. A little bit more of how much, at this current moment where elections were also happening, and for the first time we saw that there was a lot of coverage which spoke about how much elections and the heat waves are getting interlinked. There was a debate and a discourse that developed on, is this India's last summer elections? And whether or not it is, even the fact that there was direct deaths that were eventually attributed to heat strokes, as a result of which just in one phase, over 30 polling officials in the state of Uttar Pradesh died, is something which can never be normalized or taken for granted in a country where heat is going to be a single largest threat, and how it's impacted not just the socio-economy but also politics. This is quite important, and I wanted to ground this conversation in where we are at the moment, which, as you can see, the levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has changed consistently for a long period of time. We are sitting at 413, between 415, 420 parts per million. And even with decarbonization efforts, which the world is planning and committed to, we will still be roughly around 500 parts per million. So just the fact that even with extreme mitigation measures as well, you will still be at a very, very high range of carbon dioxide, which is going to cause immense warming. I think points to two facts. First of all, the fact that the general warming in the world will be too much, and second of all, adaptation will absolutely be essential and necessary in a world in which you cannot mitigate, and there will be hard limits to mitigation. I see Supriya ma'am is here as well. I will rush through some of the slides in the interest of time, but we will have more time in the day to go through some of the aspects as well. This chart, as you can see, basically shows you the line on top is 2023, and the lines below are all the years before. So there is consistently increase in temperature that is happening every year, but the global temperature in 2023 beat previous records by most ever, meaning that 2023 was just not only the hottest, but the difference between 2022 and 2023 is also something that we have to keep in mind. And maybe the fact that when we discuss climate change, it's not just about rains, just about heat, just about forest fires, just about ocean acidification, just about cyclones. It's an interconnected system that the Earth system is, and therefore what you see here is how literally the planet has broken 6 planetary boundaries, whether they are on carbon dioxide concentration, or they are on biosphere integrity, or even on fresh water, or even on land use and land change systems. We have really exceeded those boundaries. We have transgressed and breached those boundaries, and therefore what we are seeing will not be able to be solved by unilateral change. It will need complex decision making, which is why we have colleagues from the department to discuss what this will be about. I will be racing through some of the slides. I will share the slide deck with you for just reference later on, but I wanted to talk about one or two things before I pause and hand it over to Madam Supriya Sahu to talk on what the department is working on. And one is the fact that just the definition of heat waves itself is important. When do you say that a heat wave really happens? When you have some departures of temperature, but literally the departures also every degree matters. Are you departing 4 to 5? Are you, like in Delhi, we departed 7 to 8 degrees, and the severe heat wave and the kind of impact that it has had on public health, on street workers, on domestic workers, I think time will only tell. But some of the numbers I want to say, which are mentioned in this slide, and I want to just quickly capture, is 5%, 60%, and 75%. And 5% is the loss of GDP that will happen just due to the heat waves that are happening in the country. 60% is alone, if you count what is the impact of urbanization on the heat island effect, so to speak, that is happening. 60% is the contribution of urbanization alone on how cities are heating up, which means that there are several reasons why the climate change is a reason, But urbanization is a reason as well, and there is a very recent study by IIT Bhubaneswar which actually establishes for the first time with 141 cities that they have sampled that, for example, tier 2 cities all across the country, only 60% urbanization is 60% responsible for warming and how the cities are having an increase in temperature, and that single factor is making a very, very predominant contribution. And 75 to 80% was my number, which essentially was the number of informal workers in our economy. Actually, it can be more. Every 4 out of 5 workers are informal. For all of us here who understand very clearly on how socioeconomics plays out, I don't want to detail into how much more impacts it causes to every level across the economy, and how much more heat action plans should not only be considering just vulnerability but as well risk, how heat action plans should not just be short term but also long term, and how I would say heat action plans should not just focus on what disaster management is about, but should also consider what's the long-term interventions that are possible, so that we can actually make some interventions not just to prevent death, but perhaps to also give a good quality of life. Because one thing is for sure, even with a lot of winds of change of any kind, we are not seeing a situation in the near future where heat impacts will be at a manageable level. They will always be exceeding the boundaries, and we will always need to come and talk about them. I'll pause at this moment over here. I will have other chances to also speak in the day, and will cover whatever rest I have to. But Vinamrata, can I hand it back to you, and can we now have Madam Supriya Sahu as well to come and give the opening remarks?
Thanks, Aarti. Ma'am, I hope you can hear us. Supriya ma'am, can you hear us? Ma'am, can you hear us? We can't hear her. Okay, we will wait. She's back on. Manjari, she can't hear us. Ma'am, can you hear us now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Thank you so much. And over to you. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, sincere apologies for the bad connection, as I'm joining from Delhi and the connection here is not that great. But I'm really very happy to be a part of this wonderful, workshop, the discussion that is going on here, and I want to congratulate Climate Trends and especially Aarti for organizing this in a
recording
in a
in progress,
which has been doing so much for the climate change. So Aarti, really, I would like to thank you and all your colleagues for choosing Tamil Nadu to organizing this workshop. I would also like to greet everyone who has come for this workshop, including my colleagues. And as I can see Sudha and I can see Rahul on the dais. And I'm sure there are many colleagues there in the audience also. So since the time is very limited, the points that I basically wanted to make, Aarti, was that I think for a state like Tamil Nadu, heat mitigation in the wake of the climate change is something that we need to really address very, very urgently and in all sincerity, and that is what we are doing. I mean, it is not a rocket science to kind of understand that even a little bit of an increase in the heat or in the temperature can have a very adverse impact on human lives, on biodiversity, and it can really adversely impact the quality of life as well as the health outcomes. And that is why it is very important to make sure that we all sit together and discuss and come out with these strategies. So, without further ado, I just wanted to mention few initiatives that we are taking, and I will be very happy to kind of get back to the recommendations and see to it if there is anything new to learn. So, as everybody knows, that with the help of UNEP, we have recently done this particular pilot project, which is in the Lighthouse Affordable Housing Scheme, where we have used the silica paint, the white paint, reflective paint on the rooftop. And the results have been very encouraging. The results have shown that by a simple application of this white paint, we can bring down the temperature to say about 3 to 5 degrees. And therefore, bringing the temperature even to 5 degrees in this scorching heat is something which is of a great relief. But we know that this has a limitation because the paint is very useful only for the people who are living on the upper floor. But then we need to also look at the kind of solution to do the heat mitigation for people who are living at other floors. And so therefore this is one, therefore I say that there is no single solution to the problem of heat mitigation. There has to be a combination of solutions or multiple solutions that we need to deploy in a city like Chennai because it has got so many variations. The second thing I wanted to mention was that with the help of IIHS, Bangalore, we are already working on a strategy to get into our fold the resident welfare associations, and under the climate change mission, which is one of the flagship projects of the government of Tamil Nadu, we are developing a mechanism, a website and a mechanism by which we would be able to provide comprehensive training, capacity building to the resident welfare associations in a first of its kind initiative, where if a resident welfare association wants to take some sustainable measures to reduce the heat or to do the mitigation activities, they don't have to go to many players. They can go to that particular website, register themselves, and they will be able to access information. So I think at this point of time, it is very important for us to create an enabling environment for people who can access information for heat mitigation strategies. For example, if somebody wants to, have this white paint, to be applied on their rooftop in a resident welfare association, they should get all this information at one place. So our effort is to make sure that we create a one-stop solution for such heat mitigation strategies. I also would like to say that a universally accepted and tested methodology is urban greening. So, government of Tamil Nadu has been taking several steps to prepare the urban greening policy under the Green Tamil Nadu mission, which is under the drafting at this point of time, to make sure that there is a very concerted effort in all the metro cities, especially in urban areas, given the fact that Tamil Nadu is the most urbanized state in the country, and the rate at which urbanization is happening, we are going to have more and more people coming to urban areas. And therefore, apart from the fact that the Green Tamil Nadu mission will focus on the rural areas, it's also very, very critical that urban areas, they actually receive a very integrated program for urban greening. So that is something which we need to do. And I think one of the important things that we are trying to look at in our urban greening policy is how do we combine the urban greening efforts with the the wastewater that is being made available. So if we could effectively do the the kind of greening efforts matched with the treated wastewater that is coming out of the urban cities, it will be a very effective strategy to utilize the wastewater for the urban greening purposes. So that is one of the important areas that we are doing. Lastly, I think it is important for all the policy makers to look at what is already available in their cities in terms of the green lung spaces and in terms of a biodiversity that is available. So let me talk about Chennai city, and I would say that As far as Chennai city is concerned, we have, a mangrove paradise, which is just next door, which is in Ennore. So about 60 to 70 hectares of mangroves in that particular area. It is a boon to a city like Tamil Nadu, to a city like Chennai. So if we are in a position to kind of restore the degraded mangroves and maybe enhance the area which is getting covered, it will be something which will provide, an incredible support and a respite from heat. That is very important. Under CRRT, the government of Tamil Nadu is already, taking up several steps for massive restoration of the river bodies in the city of Chennai. And I'm very sure that with the restoration going on in full force, the restoration of water bodies, rejuvenation of water bodies, rejuvenation of mangroves. Some pilot interventions have proven that we should have some interventions like painting, etc. I think some of these initiatives in the as a short-term measure, and some of these initiatives as a long-term measure, they would definitely help to bring down the temperature by about 3 to 5 degrees centigrade. I think that is something which is going to be very, very important. But let me not miss the fact that these are the measures that we are talking about mitigation, and we are talking about adaptation. But I think it's the health aspect of the heat mitigation or the heat aspect should not be overlooked. And therefore, we are closely working with our governing council members on climate change. We are closely working to develop a strategy for training of our health workers, for building the capacities of our PHCs and our health systems to kind of make sure that the One Health aspect is also strengthened, because that the health outcomes are going to be adversely impacted because of the high temperatures. So these are few things I wanted to mention over here, Aarti, as well as I wanted to share with the audience. With the Tamil Nadu Green Climate Company and the 4 missions that we have, which is the Green Tamil Nadu mission, the Coastal Resilience mission, the Wetlands mission, as well as the Climate Change mission, I think we are quite set to take a solid step towards the handling of this climate crisis. But there is a lot more to do, and I look forward to the recommendations from this workshop and implement some of those solid recommendations.